Mr Chair.
Chris Farfoy.
Thank you very much, Mr Chair. It's my pleasure to take a call in this committee stage of the Social Security Commencement of Benefits Amendment Bill. Mr Chair, I'd like the theme of my contribution to be mistakes, because we are correcting a mistake that happened here in this House back in 1998. As the National Party was in the last throes of its previous government, preparing to take the opposition benches, a lot like now, ready to come back over here. And a mistake was made that has taken some time to fix. But the worst thing about making a mistake, Mr Chair, is that when you try and fix that mistake, you make things worse by making more mistakes. And it is a mistake, Mr Chair, that we are here under urgency, again without the transparency that it should be afforded the public and this House to rush this piece of legislation through. Mr Chair, looking to Clause 2, it's a mistake that the government may not, and it's probably likely not, to support a couple of SOPs, one from my colleague Carmel Cipollone and another from Jan Logie, to look at making things fair for those people who are affected by pushing out the commencement date by either 6 weeks or 6 months. Mr Chair, that is a mistake, because those people who are affected haven't had the opportunity to go to a select committee, because we're here under urgency pushing this piece of legislation. So the government could right the mistake that it is probably about to make and seriously consider supporting the SOP 142 from my colleague Carmel Cipollone. It's a very simple SOP, Mr Chair, and that is to change Clause 2, the commencement, and it reads in Clause 2, after on the day, insert that is 6 weeks, to give those people time to be able to mount a case to say it is the right thing and the fair thing for us to be able to ask for a review to see if this money is rightly owed to us, that we should get it. Now, can I just use an example where we think the government would potentially add some time onto the commencement date is, let's say, big corporates found that they were entitled to money because there was a slight discrepancy within taxation law. Now, I could bet your bottom dollar, and probably millions of them, that corporates would find a way to make sure that they could get what they thought was properly owed to them. But in this case, Mr Chair, this government is not willing to amend Clause 2, probably because of the people who may benefit from it. And they're not willing to help those who are on a benefit rightfully claim what is theirs, to give them an opportunity to say, hey, the right thing and the fair thing is that you should consider paying me what I think is rightly owed to me, and giving us more time to be able to do that. And that's why I think the government should seriously consider supporting the SOP 142 under the name of my colleague Carmel Cipollone. They should also, Mr Chair, seriously consider righting their mistake by not consulting people, by rushing through this piece of legislation under urgency. And the SOP under the name of Jan Logie from the Green Party looks to insert a new Clause 7 after the final clause in this bill to ask the department to have a period of prescribed time to undertake an advertising campaign to let those people know who are affected by this change in legislation that they should have the ability to be able to ask for an appeal, ask for a review, or ask for what is rightly theirs. Because if you look at this process at the moment, Mr Chair, this piece of legislation is being rushed through with little or no fanfare. In the time that I have been watching this debate, very little contribution from members across the House. They want to sweep this under the carpet in a late night session of Parliament so nobody knows about it. The less that people know about this, the better in terms of the government. That's why there is no select committee process. That is why we seem to have no regulatory impact statement, and the departmental report that we've got doesn't really add too much to what is going on here. So that paints a picture, Mr Chair, of a government that would rather not have this out there in the headlines, that would rather not pay back or give the opportunity for those people affected to have their say. And I think that's a shame. And Mr Chair, that's why I think they should seriously consider Clause 7 as proposed by Jan Logan to give those people some time, Mr Chair. Mr Chair.
Jamie Lee Ross.
I move that the question be now put.
Yes.